Oh, pardon. You know, actually, I think I'm in no mood for games right now. How much longer are we to be kept here? Or we just simply watch as Paris burns from afar?
The rabble are rioting. This is the price to be paid for spoiling the masses.
You don't understand, Gabrielle. The king sent us here long before the city went up in flames. He knew what was about to transpire. I think he is somehow involved in these events.
Oh, come now, Marie. True, he can be misguided and somewhat short-tempered at times, but he's no Nero.
Then why have we been given no news for so long? Les enfants, Gabrielle. The children.
They'll soon be out of harm's way. I am most certain of it. Monsieur Cléry will take good care of them. For now, at least, we are safe.
Safe? Vraiment? Where are the chateau guards?
We are still protected. The king just preferred to use a different sort of guard.
Guards? Or jailers? They won't even let us leave this room, Gabrielle. The king, he has lost his mind to grief. First our darling Sophie, then our beloved son. My poor sweet angel. They didn't let me say goodbye. I wasn't even allowed to see him. C'est vrai. Something inside me is crying out, telling me he's still of this world at times. I think I hear him calling to me. I'm so afraid.
What do you fear, my queen?
Everything. Everything horrifies me. The king's wrath. His army of indefatigable automats that Monsieur de Vaucanson has built for him. The charlatans who advise him, who are now more powerful than ministers. What happened to my son? What will happen to the children that God has deigned to leave in my care?
I won't let any harm come to them. This I promise you.
But how? Do you not see that we're prisoners here?
All is not lost. You forget about the one automat that is not hostile to us. This new bodyguard of yours.
This machine that is now somehow able to speak and understand what we say to it. C'est terrifiant.
Yes, but it is loyal to you. That's all that matters. If it managed to escape the chateau, it could be your eyes and ears in Paris. And if, perchance, the other automats were to go after it?
You won't attempt anything foolish. I cannot lose you, Gabrielle. Not now. Aegis?
Madame.
The king must be stopped.
The very kingdom is at stake.
Go and find Vaucanson at his workshop. Ni les Invalides. He surely holds the secret to these tireless automats. And perhaps he will know something about the death of my son.
How am I to leave the chateau grounds, Madame?
Go to the riverbank, at the far side of the grounds. From there you can take a boat to Paris.
You wanted to find Vaucanson? Vraiment? What if he is the one who is responsible for this unrest?
What Vaucanson has done, ma chère, only Vaucanson can undo.
This boat will take me to Paris. upstairs.
Bon sang!
Peace. I was given orders to come here.
An automat that talks. Ah, mais je te reconnais. You're Vaucanson's dancer. I saw you perform in Versailles when you were first presented to the Queen.
I have been sent by the Queen.
Sa Majesté. Is she safe?
Yes. She is at the Château de Saint-Cloud. It is guarded by machines.
Machines? What has become of the guards?
There are no longer any human guards.
His own troops. He's no better than a rabid dog.
I must find Monsieur de Vaucanson. He holds the secret to the tireless automats.
Your creator? Well, that makes two of us. And it seems we have both arrived too late. He must have gone scurrying back to his master. I was only able to find this note written in his hand. It's nothing of any use, though. Only one thing's for certain. Wherever he went, he didn't take his horseless carriage. He left the key.
There are machines wreaking havoc on the esplanade.
So I saw, yes. And a little too closely for my liking. It's a miracle I escaped alive. Just by Les Invalides, I saw one take a volley of gunfire, halt for an instant, then carry on as if nothing happened. But no machine, however resilient, is indestructible. These automats must have a weakness. Some vital axle or gear that we can target. I don't suppose you would know, you who share their nature.
No.
Blast. That is unfortunate. I scoured the workshop hoping to shed some light on the matter. But to no avail. If only I had listened to the abbot. But perhaps there's still time. Listen to me. You must find Abbé Grégoire. He knows all about Vaucanson and his machines.
Where can I find him?
He took it upon himself to carry out a well-intentioned but perilous mission. If he's still alive, he'll be seeking refuge at the Société des Amis des Noirs on Place Saint-Méry, not far from Les Halles. Here, take the key to the carriage. It'll no doubt be of use to you. I must attend to a matter of the utmost importance. If my officers are to be believed, the people in arms are calling for the Marquis de Lafayette as their general. And it is my duty to answer their call.
Happy birthday, my sweet daughter.
I can't believe it. The dancer you promised me. She's magnificent. You're the best papa ever.
Alors, tell me, will you give her a name?
So, I put it to you that the fact that the society is in need of
Monsieur de Mirabeau.
The demon can speak? Speak then! Has my time come?
I do not know.
My life is in your hands. It's not worth much. Do what you will with it.
I seek Monsieur de Vaucanson. He holds the secret to the tireless automats.
And you think you'll find him here, in my quarters? Tell me, who is your master? Aren't you one of Cagliostro's creatures?
I serve only the Queen.
Ah, the Queen. Well then, that's something else altogether.
I found this message in Monsieur de Vaucanson's carriage.
He didn't receive it. That is most worrying. Eugène and I are old friends. I was hoping he would be able to tell me what the deuce is going on. Of course, I doubt he had a hand in this odious display of force, but he spent years in service to the king and his projects. Projects whose macabre ends we're only now discovering.
Where could Monsieur de Vaucanson have gone?
How should I know? The situation is dire out there. Everyone is taking shelter wherever they can. Let me think. I know that he and Monsieur Bailly, the astronomer, are close. Perhaps Monsieur Bailly knows more?
Where can he be found?
He must have taken refuge in his observatory at the Louvre. Otherwise, I doubt he is still alive. He and his associate Lavoisier, the astronomer and the chemist, they were once the pride of the court, but have fallen out of favor. Too close to the common people, it would seem. It's as if only Vaucanson managed to stay in the king's good graces. Sic transit gloria mundi.
Who is this Cagliostro?
You feign ignorance.
I do not know.
Then you should know that Cagliostro is the king's right-hand man. He claims to be a magician, and he's a self-styled count.
A charlatan who is more powerful than a minister.
Precisely. I've heard the most troubling rumors about him. He's supposedly the one who enabled the king to breathe life into these killing machines that no key need wind. I admit it sounds highly improbable, and I wouldn't believe a word of it if I didn't have proof standing right before my eyes. Now that I think about it, as you can see, my servants have all abandoned me, and I will soon follow their lead. Those poor people hoped to escape the city while there was still time. À dire vrai, I fear I shall never see them alive again. Before she left, the housekeeper gave me this key. It opens the gate that leads to the Louvre, if you are foolhardy enough to attempt it.
I found a note written by Eugène de Vaucanson. He mentions the death of the Dauphin at Meudon. What happened that night?
How should I know? The child passed away at Meudon. I was in Versailles.
Eugène de Vaucanson told you nothing.
The only thing he was willing to tell me was that something terrible had happened, and that the circumstances leading to the Dauphin's death were not exactly as described. One thing for certain is that he was extremely upset about what happened, so much so that he refused to spend a single day more in the king's service. But he has apparently changed his mind.
Besides the king and Monsieur de Vaucanson, who else witnessed these events?
Well, if they followed protocol, Monsieur Le Monnier, the first physician to the king, he must have performed the autopsy on the child.
Where can I find him?
He lives in Versailles, near the chateau. But he has a practice here in Paris, en rue Saint-Thomas d'Enfer, in the quartier Saint-André-des-Arts.
No one, not even the king, can stop the representatives of the people from continuing their work. Wherever its members are gathered, the Assemblée Nationale lives. That is why we swear never to part, and to gather wherever circumstances require it, until a constitution is established for the kingdom.
Come here, Lenny. I salute you.
Monsieur, we have just burned our bridges. Nothing and no one can prevent justice from triumphing in this kingdom.
Let us not claim victory too soon, Maximilian. And don't forget what we agreed on, if things were to take a turn for the worse.
Monsieur...
His Lordship the King's brother has answered my message. He has agreed to see me, despite the circumstances.
The Comte de Provence? Do you trust him?
If he still has any influence over the king, we must try. I shall leave immediately for the Luxembourg Palace.
Be careful, Antoine. I implore you. The whole quartier is ablaze.
Monsieur, this is the last time we shall meet. From now on, we shall do without your help. Eh bien, are you waiting for an invitation to leave?
Your Majesty, dare we ask what brought this disgrace upon us?
The Count's work has given me complete satisfaction. Your essences and optics are no longer of any use to us.
Rejoice, learned scholars. You may now dedicate yourselves to the cause of the Vanupier. Just a moment. Are we being rebuked for our actions at the Estates General? But Your Majesty, you are the one who convened this assembly. Leave here at once, monsieur, before you say anything you might regret.
If my creator is imprisoned in the Bastille, then Monsieur Lavoisier could help me free him. But if I go to the Palais du Luxembourg now, and to Abbe Gregoire as soon as possible afterwards,
Stop! Not another step or I shoot.
wait. I have come on behalf of the Marquis de Lafayette.
He's taken an automat for his aide-de-camp. You're no more human than the machines that laid waste to this city.
I was not given the same orders as the others, monsieur.
Just what mission has the Marquis entrusted you with?
I must meet with Abbe Gregoire.
Alas, you've come too late. The abbot has got it into his head to go to the Palais de Justice. He is certain that Monseigneur de la Fare, the Bishop of Nancy, is being held prisoner by the monstrosity that is wreaking havoc on the Ile de la Cité. But how can he possibly hope to free him? The abbot is a holy man. He would lay down his life to right an injustice. But there isn't one among us who stands the slightest chance against that thing. Not the slightest chance.
Le Palais de Justice.
You were made of neither flesh nor blood. You were an automat like those who committed this massacre.
I have received no such command. I am carrying out a mission on the orders of the Queen. Your friend on Place Saint-Marie informed me of your intentions.
Alas. I was not able to reach the Palais de Justice. I fear that the soul of Monseigneur de la Fare is lost forever.
Was he killed?
What has been done to him is a fate worse than death. Far worse. But I could go no further. There were so many bodies, so many innocents strewn about the square. The air there was something sinister about it. I felt it poisoning me, body and soul. As for getting back to the Société, it's hopeless. The streets are teeming with machines. But the machine that is wreaking havoc in the area around the Palais is colossal. Much, much larger than yourself. What's more, the soul of His Excellency the Bishop has been imprisoned within this monstrous machine. I'm certain of it. Have you seen the flames coming from the Palais? I don't think any...
I, Henri de la Fare, Bishop of Nancy, ask the Lord to bless this assembly and watch over this meeting of the Estates General. Let us not turn a blind eye to the misfortunes of a populace who is condemned to the most abject poverty, for there is no greater sin than to ignore the suffering of one's brethren. The wickedness of the court is an insult to the misery that reigns in our lands. In such dark times, how can one conceive of hiding away to play shepherdess or tinker with clockwork contraptions?
Mon Dieu, what happened? You stopped moving. I feared you had broken.
I do not know. I only touched this ring.
Monseigneur de la Far's ring. Artelissa, whoever you are, help him, please. Lord, let not that his soul be forever lost. Make haste, I beg of you.
Monsieur, I beg you, leave this place and seek shelter. I have seen these machines in action. I know all too well their capabilities. I implore you, vous n'avez pas une chance! Stop! S'il vous plaît, heed my words, flee!
We must leave this place, Monseigneur. There's no time.
Take this to the clerk's office at the Châtelet.
Ora pro nobis peccatoribus nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Stay back!
Remain calm, Monseigneur. You are safe now.
What did they do to me? This dream. This nightmare.
What nightmare, Monseigneur?
It was terrible. I was but a shadow among shadows. There was so much anger, despair. How long has it been? A day? A year? Fire! There were flames everywhere, and death! The suffering I was forced to inflict. Oh Lord, what have I done? Is this the hell that awaits our immortal souls once our time on this earth has ended? If this is true, then how are we to go on living with nothing to hope for, nothing to believe in?
How were you captured, Monseigneur?
I was with Abbé Grégoire in Place Dauphine. We'd gone to speak with the volunteers of the Garde Nationale. We implored them not to take up arms against the king's machines. Alas, they refused to heed our words, and we had to leave in great haste. After that, mon Dieu, I can't remember a thing. Those poor people. These automats were truly made in the mold of their master. Ruthless. To think, for just one simple reproach against the court, the king cast me into hell.
You owe your freedom to Abbé Grégoire.
The good abbot, I tell you, this man is utterly irreplaceable. He has devoted himself body and soul to the mission I entrusted to him. Investigating the king's entourage. In particular, the man who enabled him to create this ungodly army. But, mon Dieu, the notes!
What notes, Monseigneur?
The notes the abbot placed in my safekeeping. Those heretics took them.
I know where the documents can be found. I must go to the Châtelet prison.
What shall I do? Where will I be safe?
Go and join the abbot at the Société des Amis des Noirs. The way is clear for now, but you must go quickly. More automats will be here soon.
Dieu soit loué. It is such a blessing to see you safe and sound.
This belongs to you.
Bless you, whoever you are. You have our eternal gratitude.
I believe you've met Monsieur Julien Raymond from distant Saint-Domingue. He's one of the most eminent members of our organization.
And you, mademoiselle? What should we call you?
My name is Aegis.
Ah, yes. The Aegis. The mighty shield and scourge of Zeus.
I wonder... Earlier, by the Pont Neuf, when you touched Monseigneur's ring, can you explain what happened?
The ring called to me. It compelled me to reach out and take it.
Come now.
The moment I touched it, I was transported. Somewhere else. It was the same strange world that you were in, Monseigneur.
Hell, you mean?
Or purgatory?
I saw things there. I saw Monseigneur giving a sermon.
What wickedness is this?
This explains the moment when you froze. And this isn't the only time you've experienced something like this, n'est-ce pas?
That is correct. It also happened with two objects I found in Place Dauphine.
And what happened there?
That is where I found your Bible and your cross, Monseigneur.
How did you know they belonged to me?
They demanded to be returned to you. You did not regain consciousness until I did so.
This is madness.
Let us not be so quick to judge, Monseigneur.
I witnessed the moment when your cross was taken from you. Then I saw you being locked in that box.
Et bien voilà. It is just as I suspected. Here, Aegis, look at this. Over the course of my research, I unearthed this ancient document. I believe I have finally uncovered its meaning. It's a triangle with an identical inscription at each corner. Nemi, memory in ancient Greek. Then, in the center, there is an open eye which symbolizes awakening. Do you understand? The images you saw, Aegis, were Monseigneur de la Far's own memories. 3 echoes of the past tied to personal objects of his. 3 Nemes, memories which some dark alchemy had taken from him. Without them, his mind would have remained lost, incomplete. He would never have regained consciousness. But by returning these 3 objects to him, Aegis, you were able to save his immortal soul.
Tell me, Aegis, when you were at the clerk's office at the Châtelet, did you perhaps see a leather wallet near the abbot's documents?
No, Monseigneur.
Ah, that is unfortunate. Most unfortunate.
Mon père.
Plus tard, s'il vous plaît. I need a moment alone. I must read over my notes in light of what we have just discovered.
Monseigneur? What task did you entrust to the abbot?
The Holy Office ordered me to keep an eye on the Comte de Cagliostro. This charlatan imagines himself to be the heir of Mesmer, the magnetizer, and seems to have ingratiated himself with the king. There have been disturbing reports about him that could lead to his excommunication. It is said that he can make the dead speak. Can you imagine? I asked the abbot to investigate the surroundings of Eugène de Vaucanson's workshop, where the Count had been seen coming and going for several weeks. I cannot disclose the details of what he discovered there, but it may well be related to the events that have plunged Paris into mourning.
That other world where you were held prisoner. Do you still feel its effects?
This other world, as you call it, Aegis, is none other than hell itself, Gehenna. The place the Lord sends those who worship the beast, but hell didn't keep me. Has God given me a chance to redeem myself, perhaps?
I bid you farewell, Monseigneur.
Wait just a moment, s'il vous plaît. You are one of Cagliostro's creatures, are you not?
What do you mean?
When did you awaken?
I do not understand, Monseigneur.
Well, that is to say, you talk, you think, you seem to act with some sort of free will. This was not always the case, that much is clear. You must agree that not all automates are as sophisticated as yourself. I'm attempting to unravel the mystery of your true nature. Tell me, what are your very first memories?
That is a question I am unable to answer.
How strange. In that case, you must surely be able to tell me who taught you what you know.
What I know, Monseigneur?
How can I put it in a way that you'll understand? For example, you call me Monseigneur. How do you know that this is how one addresses a member of the clergy of my rank?
I cannot explain it. I believe...
Go on, Aegis.
I believe that this knowledge is not mine.
Well, I never. Did you hear that, Abbot?
I caught every word, mon ami.
Monsieur Raymond. What is the aim of this organization?
We publish articles and exert our influence on those who are in a position to improve the lot of our unfortunate brethren. Our numbers grow by the day, and we have many illustrious members, such as the Comte de Mirabeau, and the Marquis de Lafayette. But it was Monsieur Brissot and the abbot that founded the group.
Good old Brissot. Shouldn't he be here by now?
Yes, mon père. He should have arrived hours ago. Alas, there's been no sign of him.
I hope to God that no misfortune has befallen him.
What fate does the kingdom reserve for those with black skin?
According to tradition, any enslaved person who sets foot on French soil is freed.
This rule is most problematic in the eyes of planters in the colonies, who would seek to maintain their precious labor force.
This is why, for the past 12 years, no black people have been allowed to disembark in any of the kingdom's ports. Those who accompany their masters on the journey are imprisoned in the Admiralty's jails the moment they leave the ship. As for those who manage to evade the authorities, they live in fear of the raids carried out by the Marshalsea.
Are you not subject to these laws, Monsieur Raymond?
I am fortunate enough to have been born a subject of the king through my father, and also to have received an education, and to be wealthy.
Naturally, that makes all the difference.
You are quite a long way from home, Monsieur Raymond.
I haven't been back to Saint-Domingue in nearly 5 years. I left my most trusted men in charge of overseeing my indigo plantation. I came to France with the aim of having an audience with the king. I hoped to convince him to use his automats for agricultural work. I was of the belief that this was the best way to ease the suffering of our enslaved brethren. Alas, it was all for naught. I was only able to get an audience with the Minister of the Navy, and even that was granted reluctantly. Later, when the king convened the Estates General, my hopes were renewed. I saw it as an opportunity to make our voices heard. And then, mon Dieu, what a disaster, Aegis. What a complete disaster.
Monseigneur? Monseigneur, where are you?
Seize him!
Cagliostro, may you burn in hell! Lock him out!
Monsieur Lavoisier has fallen into a trap. Probably took him to the Palais du Luxembourg. The Cordelier convent is over there, up on the hill. Monsieur Lemonier's house is on this road. Not far from here, I could pay him a visit to learn more about the death of the poor Dauphin.
Ah, my pet automat returns.
Pet? What the devil do you mean?
It's quite all right, Maximilian. This machine and I are already acquainted. She's not like the others. For one thing, she didn't try to kill me. Extraordinary as it may seem, she's capable of speech and reason, just as you and I.
What the deuce?
Mademoiselle, please allow me to introduce you to Monsieur Maximilien de Robespierre, lawyer and representative of Artois at the now defunct Estates General.
Maximilien de Robespierre.
Inconceivable.
I'd wager it was she who laid waste to that monstrosity that was blocking access to the convent, and thus it is thanks to her that I was able to get to you at all.
Oui. I eliminated it.
Am I to understand that you have embraced our cause?
I must reach the Bastille, where Monsieur de Vaucanson is being held prisoner.
And in whose name are you undertaking this mission, pray tell?
I obey the Queen.
Ah bon? So the Austrian has turned against her husband. I'm not entirely sure that's cause for celebration. No doubt she hopes to further the aims of her brother, Emperor Joseph. With all this turmoil, she could very well hand him the country. In any case, madame, you must know that you have no chance of reaching the Bastille. It seems every effort has been made to restrict access to it. It would seem that the king is keeping his most treasured possessions there.
I must complete the task that has been given to me.
Your obstinacy changes nothing, madame. Who knows, perhaps in time an opportunity will present itself. But for now, let us consider the positive, and take comfort in the fact that we appear to share a common goal. Bringing down the clockwork tyrant.
I must find Monsieur de Vaucanson. He holds the secret to the tireless automats.
This is surely true, and when the time comes I will help you to reach the prison. Je vous le promets. But right now, the people are broken, counting their dead. They can but hide and pray they'll survive. Soon, however, those who bear love for their country in their hearts will be ready to fight again. We must prepare this uprising without delay. Since you have secured the area around this stronghold, more brave citoyens will surely join us soon. Alors, can we count on your support?
The king must be stopped.
I couldn't agree more, madame. Though I despise war, we must rally the people for battle as soon as possible. A reliable source tells me the arsenal at Les Invalides is overflowing with weapons, but a royal automat guards it. I now have no doubt that you are capable of defeating such a creature. But are you prepared to go back into the fray?
Yes, I am.
Very well. Try to clear the way so we can access the Hôtel des Invalides. Once you've done that, we'll take care of the rest. A handful of patriots are already there. Their task was to open a passage to the east, through the Faubourg Saint-Germain.
Very well. I will go and find them.
You're back, madame. Did you free Les Invalides?
Not yet.
De grâce, do not give up. Our salvation is at stake.
Were you present when the Estates General was dissolved?
Oui, madame. I had a front row seat. I witnessed what it cost to defy the crown. We laid bare before the king the abject misery of his subjects. It was more than he could suffer. So he had the people's representatives dispersed by means of bayonets. At least we only had to contend with soldiers made of flesh and blood. Positively angelic compared to the machines that have swept through Paris.
Goodbye, Monsieur de Robespierre. Monsieur de Mirabeau.
Have your efforts paid off?
Monsieur de Lafayette, you are safe and sound.
Safe and sound indeed. But with a broken soul. I have just returned from Place Dauphine.
I understand, monsieur. The Garde Nationale.
I was too late. All these brave men, cut down in a single attack. Why was I not among them? Alas, I am condemned to outlive them, and to witness an even greater calamity.
What disaster do you fear, monsieur?
It's a highly sensitive matter. I've been waiting in vain for a message of the utmost importance.
Can you tell me more about it?
Ma foi, at this point, I don't really have a choice.
You can speak freely. Have no fear.
Before the king's attack, I sent a squad of horsemen on a very important assignment. They were to collect a precious cargo at Gros Caillou, not far from the Hotel des Invalides.
What sort of cargo?
I'm sorry, Aegis, but I swore on my life to keep it a secret. All I can tell you is that it would give us a decisive advantage. But I haven't heard from my men. I'm worried that the exchange may have met with misfortune. It is paramount that I learn what happened and who has the cargo now. The future of the kingdom depends on it.
Since it's so important, I will go there myself and attempt to solve this mystery.
could I have been so naive? Cagliostro, that miscreant. He's got me. He's got us all.
There. You are free.
Senor. Vaucanson's dancer. You're conscious too. And yet, you're not one of the Count's creatures, n'est-ce pas?
I do not know, monsieur.
But how?
It is best not to stay here, monsieur. I will take you to the Cordelier convent. The representatives of the Third Estate have made it their stronghold.
Oh, so you know about it. Well, if you'll agree to be my escort, let us leave post-haste.
You are safe now, Monsieur Lavoisier.
It is thanks to you that I am here safe and sound, madame. And though your very nature is a mystery to me, I am and shall be forever in your debt.
How do you intend to counter the King's actions?
Unfortunately, we don't have the upper hand. For now, we can only hope to protect ourselves from him. I am convinced that something is afoot. Something that could destroy all our hopes in an instant.
You have my full attention.
You should know that I am a gunpowder commissioner. As such, I oversee the provision of gunpowder to the kingdom's arsenals, l'Arsenal de Paris in particular. For the past 2 days, a large quantity of gunpowder from Marsangy has been sitting near Les Invalides. It's in a warehouse by the factories. But the men I sent to take possession of the cargo and transport it to the Arsenal have gone missing. Do you realize what this means?
The gunpowder could have fallen into our enemy's hands.
It's possible. One thing is certain. It's enough to destroy half of Paris. Whether it is still in the warehouse or has fallen into the wrong hands, we must find it urgently. Then, if possible, we must neutralize it.
How?
Simply by placing it in contact with water. Nothing could be easier in theory, but we must find a way to flood it.
Flood the gunpowder? You're out of your mind, Lavoisier. We're in the most desperate of situations and you want to deprive us of such a valuable resource. What will our cannons use once we have formed our army of patriots?
Your army, Marquis, is presently but a figment of your imagination.
I see. So you're one of those men who would sound the retreat before the battle has even begun.
I will go to the warehouse. Once I have located the powder, I will decide what to do with it.
Assassins. Death itself encased in an iron shell. Flee! Gentlemen, flee! While there is still time!
There. You are no longer in danger.
Ludia? Are you the one who has released me from this nightmare? But how? Did your master send you?
My name is not Ludia, monsieur. I'm called Aegis, and I serve only the Queen.
A pauvre enfant. Ludia, Aegis, and yet I fear that you are neither.
It is of no importance, monsieur. I have a mission to accomplish. I must speak with Eugène de Vaucanson.
Alas, the king had him thrown in prison.
Yes. I was told that he was in the Bastille.
With shackles on his hands and chains on his feet. That is how Louis the Mad has decided to repay his most faithful servant, mon cher Eugène. Where he is now, how could we hope to help him? As for you, my child, I can't be sure, but I think there is a truth you must uncover. Find your way to Monsieur de Vaucanson's home. It is in the Faubourg Saint-Germain, east of the Invalides. Here is the key to the gate. When we meet again, we will have the answers we seek.
I found your colleague Lavoisier at the Palais de Luxembourg.
Did he meet with the Comte de Provence, as he had planned?
No. He fell into a trap. Luckily, he escaped unharmed.
Bon sang. I warned him. Now there can be no doubt. The entire royal family is against us.
What did you see and hear before you regained consciousness?
I don't know how to describe it. À vrai dire, I was in a sinister and icy place. Et puis, it's all a blur. A poisonous feeling of destructive power. Somewhere between a dream and reality. Orders whispered in my ear. Poor, terrified people falling at my hand. I don't know if I was given some powerful drug, or if my mind was truly lost in the ether. If this is the case, the phenomenon should be studied. But can it be reproduced?
I will take you to safety at the Cordelier convent.
So, you're in the know. Excellent. Let us go, my child.
Athénaïs, pour l'amour de Dieu, run and hide!
What do you mean, Papa?
Hurry, I beg you! The Count is at our door. He shall take us away.
Good heavens!
Don't worry about me. Run, I say. Run! They're after
after us. You must carry on, I beg you.
I'll make it. I'm out of breath.
Suzanne, just a bit more. We're almost there. Sustainable, Your Majesty. Your mechanical revolution has changed the face of the kingdom, but the coffers are woefully empty.
The debt, Monsieur Necker. This debt that you and your banking friends helped to create for your own benefit, and which is now forcing us to levy new taxes. Will my subjects be able to bear another tax?
Yes, Your Majesty, as long as it is distributed fairly. The representatives of the nobility, the clergy, and the Third Estate must come to an agreement. That is why we have convened the Estates General. Tomorrow you are to preside over the opening ceremonies.
Oh, your Estates General. Nothing good can come of it. You have roused the spirit of rebellion. All I hear about are their damned cahiers de doléances. My rightful enjoyment is being challenged. The streets of Versailles are teeming with loudmouth fanatics with sacrilegious thoughts. Tell me, Monsieur le Ministre, have you purposely set this army of the unwashed against me?
Your Majesty, I have always been your most faithful servant.
Beware, Necker. Beware. I have a surprise in store for anyone who dares attack my throne.
My dear Suzanne, take my hand, please. Don't let them take me away. No. Oh, no, this has to stop. I don't want to be tormented anymore.
That is not my intention. I have come to rescue you.
Rescue me? But what on earth are you?
It is of no importance. What did you see and hear before you regained consciousness?
I had frightful visions, rageful wraiths filled with pain and sorrow. And it was cold enough to curdle the blood. Oh, it's impossible to describe. All the rage and anger. I was in another body, I think. So big, so powerful. And there was this commanding voice, ordering me to spread terror and death. Did I really hear it? Or did I momentarily lose my mind?
Who are you, monsieur?
Don't you know? I'm Jacques Necker, Ministre des Finances. Well, I was before I was captured. But this situation suggests that the king has decided to dismiss me from his service.
What does he accuse you of?
My alleged connivance with the Third Estate, no doubt. And most of all, for having been the first to ask to convene the Estates General.
How and when were you captured?
When the machines attacked, my wife and I fled our home to hide not far from there, in the Église Sainte-Marie. But we didn't stand a chance against the machines. They overran the nave, wantonly mowing down the faithful. My wife, my poor wife, she wasn't able to escape. I'm sadly convinced of this. As for me, my life was spared only so I could be tormented. What is the meaning of all this?
What will you do now?
There is no future for me in this kingdom. I need to find a safe place where I can prepare for my departure as soon as possible.
I will take you to the Cordelier convent. You will be safe there.
À la bonne heure, she's back.
Aegis, what a joy and relief to see you again.
Monsieur.
Welcome to our stronghold. I'm sure that everyone here is aware of the great debt we all owe you. As you can see, the most exhausted among us are growing stronger.
While the most determined are already planning our counterattack.
I did not expect to see you all together.
4 days ago, the representatives of the Third Estate gathered in a tennis court. They swore not to separate until they had established a constitution for the nation. But that was not the only oath we swore. All the honorable men who were at Versailles, representatives and patriots, members of the Club Breton, secretly swore to meet here if they were dispersed.
You, Aegis, have allowed them to gather once again. Though unfortunately many are missing, we still have hope.
Why did you choose to meet in this convent?
It was my idea. Voyez-vous, I stay here whenever my obligations bring me to Paris. No other retreat inspires such peace and contemplation. Et puis, truth be told, this building has always felt like a fortress to me. Just look at how thick these walls are.
For 2 whole days, the patriots in the quarter consolidated the outer walls to make it an impenetrable citadel. No automat has broken through our defenses yet.
Where are the monks, mon père?
They are secluded in their quarters, praying for the salvation of the people of Paris. However, we bear no illusions. We are weak, we are divided.
And we are unarmed. Without you, without your warrior strength, we have no chance of turning things around.
You are sent by heaven above, Aegis. From now on, you may consider the Cordelier convent your headquarters and a welcome refuge.
We must speak, you and I, in private, if you please. Monsieur de Lafayette must not hear a word of what I'm about to tell you.
What do you mean? You all seem to be certain that I will use my strengths to serve your cause. Are you forgetting that I have a task to accomplish?
Not at all, madame. We all know and support your plan to free Monsieur de Vaucanson. That is why I've taken the time to think of a way for you to get to the Bastille.
I am listening.
There is a patriot in Paris whose pamphlets have aroused Monsieur de Lafayette's ire. His anger is so strong that the poor man had to disappear to escape arrest. I know that he is secretly hiding in the quarries in Montmartre. A labyrinth he is said to know like the back of his hand. If anyone can help you navigate the obstacles that keep you from the Bastille, it is the elusive Monsieur Marat.
Very well. I will go and find him. Monsieur Necker.
I owe you my life, madame. So I am embarrassed to ask you for anything more.
Do not fear. You have my full attention.
Suzanne, my beloved wife. I cannot bring myself to accept her death. Despite all the evidence, I still hope to see her alive again. I need to be sure. Mon Dieu. What have I done to deserve such a fate? Why has the king sworn to destroy me? And all that I hold dear. After everything I've done for him. My abnegation.
Why would the king owe you anything?
I dedicated my life to the kingdom as his minister. Well, my life and my fortune as well. I refused to accept any remuneration for my services in order to keep the accounts balanced. And I personally filled the king's coffers with 2.5 million livres from my own private accounts, bonds in the Caisse d'Escompte, which the king keeps in a tailor-made armoire d'affaires in the Palais des Tuileries. He stores all his secrets there. I'd wager there's enough in there to sully his reputation 100 times over. You must retrieve these bonds post-haste, madame. They must not be used to allow this madman to build more murderous automats.
Do I have any chance of opening it?
Don't even think about it, madame. Despite your incredible strength, that safe is said to be impenetrable. It was designed precisely to that effect. I personally never had access to it. I suppose that its contents were too unofficial for the honest minister that I always was.
Who has the key?
The king does, that's for sure.
Anyone else?
How could I know? His shadow advisors, most likely. Now that I think about it, there's a rumor that has been going round Versailles for a while now. It's said that Monsieur de Mirabeau used to come and go as he pleased at the Tuileries, that he oversaw diplomatic missions for the crown. Not in any official capacity, of course. Who knows? He might know more about this matter than I do.
I will ask him. I will look into what happened to your wife.
Bless you, madame.
Where should I start my investigation?
In the Faubourg Saint-Germain, east of Les Invalides. We were separated in the Église Sainte-Marie, on Rue de Bourgogne.
I shall be off.
You are the only hope of seeing my beloved wife again, and of foiling the plans of the clockwork tyrant.
Aegis, a word, s'il vous plaît.
This time, it's over for me. Princess was ransacked, and I barely escaped from the guards sent to arrest me. I must disappear, and hope that things will one day turn to my advantage.
In truth, the timing is excellent. According to my informants, the king is planning a coup de force against the Third Estate. I think it's high time for all of us to go underground with you. Once we're hidden in the catacombs, we can prepare a counter-offensive in peace.
Does the Duke approve of this withdrawal?
No, that fool. He's indecisive as usual. Always busy dreaming about his cousin's crown. But I've prepared the terrain. He will let me do as I please, as long as I serve his interests.
Monsieur Marat.
Huh? Hey? Who goes there? La diableuse, je m'attendais. So this is the famous Huntress Diana I've heard so much about. Truly, 'tis an honor, madame. Now let me have a look at you. Oh, oui. You're just as they described. An angel of death, descended from the heavens to vanquish the clockwork tyrant.
Who depicted me this way, monsieur?
Mes compagnons, madame. Chief among them is Monsieur Chaudelot de Leclos. They have observed you dispensing justice all over the city. A most expeditious justice at that, as befits the crimes committed by our good king. What a strange machine you are. Gifted with intelligence, clearly, but also with speech and the freedom to do as you please. Cependant, you are still an automat. Who is your master?
It was on the Queen's orders that I came to Paris.
The poor thing. To what new level of desperation has her husband's madness driven her? Does she finally intend to leave this kingdom, where she should never have set her dainty little feet?
No, monsieur. She means to put an end to her husband's madness.
What, with you? You in what army? That's quite amusing, you must admit.
And you, Monsieur Marat? Who is your master?
I serve not a master, but a cause. That of the Duc d'Orléans. His cousin the king has no place on that throne, and nor does his wretched dynasty. The Bourbons, along with their wars, their crimes, and their vices, are finished. It's high time their scepter be passed to an enlightened, just monarch. One who is sympathetic to the people's sufferings. But now that I think about it, madame, look at us. We've been standing around chatting like old friends for several minutes, and I still don't know to what I owe the pleasure of your visit.
I must go to the Bastille, where Monsieur de Vaucanson is imprisoned.
Oui. Such a sad fate for a king's lackey. And what do you want with your creator? This man whose blood-stained hands built the army that's currently setting Paris ablaze.
What Vaucanson has done, only Vaucanson can undo.
Fair enough. Alas, while I come and go as I please through these tunnels, it is impossible to enter the fortress.
Impossible, dites-vous?
A sanguinary automat is spreading death and terror in the depths of this quarry. At the cost of their lives, my comrades were able to sabotage the floor of the cave to limit its movements. Nevertheless, it stands between you and the tunnel that leads to the Quartier du Temple. And that's the only way to reach the Bastille.
And yet that's exactly what I intend to do, Monsieur Marat.
À votre guise. I shall not attempt to dissuade you. There is one small thing, though. I had to disable the mobile walkways to protect myself from the automats. But since you managed to come here, I assume you already know a lot about these devices.
Indeed.
Here. This would allow you to reach the lower tunnels.
Look at them, parading around like peacocks, these scoundrels. rotten to their very core. See how they proudly display their vices and shameful privileges, tirelessly working to drag morality through the mud, trampling love itself.
The Queen is said to have read your liaison before her husband banned it. It's hilarious, isn't it?
I'm not surprised. No matter how hard I worked to denounce their immoral practices, the aristocrats saw my novel as nothing more than a light-hearted bit of fluff. How naive I was to imagine that my pen could slice away the gangrene of their debauchery.
Well, fortunately, you have more than one string to your bow, mon capitaine.
Monsieur Laclos was the Duc d'Orléans' faithful retainer. Gave his takeover. One of the king's most bloodthirsty automats. How ironic.
You're alive.
Platoon. Ready. Fire! Fire at will! Senor, we can't stop them. They're upon us. Fixed bayonets. Fixed bayonets!
The fighting has stopped. It's over. Voyez? The huntress Diana appeared to us. She's the one who saved you.
But the troops... Where are the troops?
You are the only survivor, Leclos.
No. No. We were so close. But those machines... An entire battalion would have been unable to defeat them. We were forced to retreat. Chased into these tunnels by the automats.
It was madness to attempt an attack on the Bastille.
You're wrong. I'm a military man. It was a bold maneuver, but it was a calculated risk. After all, that old fortress is a pile of stones with no buffers, curtain walls, or bastions. As for its garrison, our agents were certain. Only a handful of veterans should have been there. A single charge should have sufficed to disperse them. But the king made other arrangements. He increased the fortress's defenses and placed a swarm of automats at the service of a terrible machine.
Why did you launch this attack?
3 of our companions were held captive in the fortress. Our best agents.
Agents?
Spies, if you prefer. We, the supporters of the Duc d'Orléans, have always worked in the shadows, within the Queen's entourage, in the tribunes of the Estates General, among the patriots in the clubs, amidst the rank and file in the army.
We have had some success, you have to admit.
What machinations have you discovered?
Enough to make Monsieur Marat's ink flow and bring down our rivals. Necker's speculations, Lafayette's dishonorable behavior, Mirabeau's corruption, and many darker secrets.
Tell me about this machine that guards the Bastille.
We were prepared to face an enemy, not an executioner. That thing, half butcher's block, half stocks, was designed to make heads roll.
Who captured you, monsieur?
There was some confusion in the fray, but Cagliostro was in charge. He was the one who ordered me to be shut up in that coffin. Then I was thrown into that awful place where I lost consciousness. After that, everything is a series of blurred visions, with a voice that ordered me to kill, again and again.
I intend to enter the Bastille and free Monsieur de Vaucanson.
For what possible reason, mon Dieu?
She claims that he's the only one who can stop the machines.
Indeed, it's possible. In that case, if you're ready to face the abomination that blocked my path and slaughtered my lieutenants, then don't waste a second. Let's not stay here much longer, Marat. Let's head back to our burrow. There's still some wine left, n'est-ce pas?
More than enough, Leclos. More than enough.
Wonderful. We'll drink to our broken dreams until this finally comes to an end.
Here you are at last. This is where the path to the Bastille begins. And to think, I would have never thought you'd make it this far. Cependant, I would advise you not to rush. The fighting in these tunnels has weakened the structure. If you go in there, I'm afraid you won't be able to turn back. Delors, I have just one bit of advice to give you. Before going any further, make sure you're not leaving behind any unfinished business. Any commitments that you've not fully met. I shall return to my hiding place. In these unsure times, you can never be too careful. Ne croyez-vous pas?
There's no turning back. From now on, I will have to do without a carriage. The Bastille is to the south of the Temple.
That's enough, Monsieur le Comte. My assistants and I are exhausted. We're not gravediggers, à la fin.
Oh, I understand. The task you have been given does not please you. Perhaps you do not find it worthy of your high qualifications.
Indeed. My family has been dedicated to serving the kingdom for over a century, and you cannot ignore what it has cost us. I refuse to fall that low.
Very well. As you wish. Since this is the case, you will have a more prestigious assignment starting today. Was there anything else?
What about my assistants? Will they come with me?
Unfortunately not, mon ami. But I promise you that they will never complain about their fate again.
Monsieur le Comte! Monsieur le Comte, are you there? The prisoners, they're suffering. What is the meaning of this?
As promised, I have interceded on your behalf. The king has named you gouverneur de la Bastille. Do you realize what an honor this is?
Put an end to this sinister farce, Monsieur le Comte. Order your machines to unhand me at once. Ah!
Listen to my voice, mon ami. Nothing but my voice.
toi? Oh, that voice. Athénaïs, mon enfant. Oh mon Dieu. They did it. They did it. They've turned my sweet daughter into a cold machine.
It's all right. Stay calm.
Well, Ludia, what has Cagliostro told you? Has he sent you to put me out of my misery?
No, I'm going to get you out of here. Let me help you.
There's no point. I'm burning with fever, and I'm already short of breath. Death lurks around every corner in this prison. I couldn't escape it. I'm not long for this world.
No, you can't. Outside, your automats are slaughtering men, women, and children. What you have done, monsieur, only you can undo.
What I have done, the miracles I performed, the wonders I gave to this kingdom, it was nothing but vanity. I closed my eyes to it for so long. Mesmer, Cagliostro, souls snatched from their eternal rest like water from a well. I should have set fire to the workshop. I should have melted my creations.
It's not too late to stop the massacre.
I don't have the strength. You must...
Speak, monsieur. Say something, enfant.
You must stop them. The king and his loathsome henchman, Cagliostro, the master of the machines. He gives them their orders. He must be silenced at all costs. Take my hand.
Monsieur. Monsieur. Father.
No, no, my pauvre enfant. I am not your father. No more than you are Athénaïs. You're but the vessel that contains what is left of her broken soul. Ludia, I don't want to die without hope. In the name of what is left of her in you, in the name of her love for you, I beg you to free her from the purgatory our enemies have confined her to.
I will grant your wish, monsieur.
Do you realize what that means? Are you ready to make that sacrifice?
The ultimate sacrifice.
Ma fille. I shall never see her darling face again. Ma toute petite. You must set her free. Bring her back into the light. The light.
Monsieur. Monsieur. Monsieur.
My daughter, will you never listen? This machine belongs to the king now, vous le savez. There's nothing I can do about it.
Did he also order you to torture her?
The king wants me to make some improvements.
And you obey him just like that?
That's enough, Athénaïs. Let me work. And from now on, I forbid you from coming in here without my permission.
Ugh! You're no better than your master, Papa!
Citoyen, I come bearing sad tidings. Monsieur de Vaucanson has passed away. I was present for his last breath in his cell at the Bastille.
Justiciel. Requiescat in pace.
Mon Dieu, it is a cruel fate that has taken my dearest friend from me today.
Eugène. Ce pauvre Eugène. I cannot suffer such a horrible injustice.
Was he at least able to tell you something before he passed away?
No. Nothing.
How unfortunate. We are lost.
Must we resign ourselves to this disastrous turn of events?
No, General. Every part of me refuses to do so. Eugène de Vaucanson made me make a promise that I swore to keep. Now I have no other choice than to risk everything.
What are you thinking, Aegis?
I'm thinking of making my way to Versailles.
Eh bien, you should know that I also plan to go there.
You don't even think about it.
Ma foi. What have we got to lose? Our lives? At this point, you must admit that they're not worth much.
I agree with the Marquis's resolution. We must take into account everything that Aegis has done to foil the King's plans. The time has come for us to put ourselves at her service.
Not so fast, mon ami. Let's not rush into anything. You'd have to be mad to want to be part of the battle to come. Those who agree to take part in this strike will need to keep a low profile until Aegis has cleared the way. As for you, madame, I do not know what new arrangements have been made since my last visit to the Queen, but I found the area around the North Wing to be particularly empty. Here is where you should launch the attack. If fortune is in my favor, I shall be waiting for you at the Petit Trianon with something to help you make your way through the gardens.
As for us, once the automates have been defeated, we will enter the palace to seize the king and the count.
Is that your plan, Monsieur le Marquis?
It is, monsieur.
We are about to take the small step that separates audacity from madness.
Are you ready to take it, madame?
Citoyen, I cannot escape my obligations. It is in my very nature to honor them. I kept the promise I made to the Queen to find Monsieur de Vaucanson. I am now bound by the oath I swore before my creator. If I go to Versailles, it is in the hope of rescuing Athenais. I think also of all that remains to be done in Paris. And what's more, you demand my help to make you masters of the king.
It is a heavy burden that we place on your shoulders. But once again, we must leave it up to you.
Take your time, Aegis. A hasty decision could lead to disaster.
We will be ready for action when the time comes.
Pour la nation!
Et pour le royaume!
Here we are. A force that compels me to make my way into the heart of the palace. Athenais.
Oh, you've come back to us.
My child. My sweet child.
It's all right, my queen. He stopped shouting. The doctors are with him.
When will they let me hold him?
Don't worry. I'm sure that...
Oh, look! He's moving! My son! Oh, my son! Grâce à Dieu! We've done it!
He's alive, Gabrielle! Yes, my queen, he has been saved! Praise be to the good Dr. Lemonnier!
Grand Dieu!
What's going on, Gabrielle?
Dia! Step back, Your Majesty! Silence, everyone! Hear my voice!
My child!
Seigneur! Oh mon Dieu! What on earth? Your Majesty, we must retreat! Leave Monsieur! Go!
Oh, my queen!
Hurry up and close that door!
The caress! Let me see him!
No, madame! It is over! You must go to Versailles.
No! My son! My darling angel!
Our plan is foolproof. Monsieur Cléry will be waiting for you at Gros Caillou at the appointed time. But I warn you, do not be late.
Don't worry, monsieur. I will not fail you.
Very well. As for the rest, everything is explained in this letter. Mesdames, the die is cast. In a week, God willing, You will be in Vienna, and the children under the Emperor's protection.
Quiet, someone is coming. Monsieur, you must leave.
Your Grace.
Monsieur, to what do we owe this honor?
Mesdames, we are in grave danger. In Paris, the people are up in arms. I've been informed that the rebels are marching on the palace.
What do you mean?
There is no need to be alarmed. You are to be taken to Saint-Cloud and placed under competent protection. Have your people prepare your things. You will leave Versailles in an hour.
Good heavens, my queen. How will I get to the children?
Oh mon Dieu. All is lost. Aegis, where on earth have you been? Did you not receive my message ordering you to Saint-Cloud?
Yes, I did. But unfortunately, I was not able to answer your call.
My life was at stake. It was your duty to protect me.
Your life has no more value than that of your subjects, madame.
Grand Dieu! How dare you!
Madame, go and find the children. We must get going.
No, no. We can't. I can't.
The children?
Charlotte and the Dauphin. They are here, upstairs, in the Queen's room.
General, you and I both know what is coming. You must take them to safety post-haste.
No, I will not leave without Gabrielle.
Madame de Polignac? What happened to her?
Something strange is going on here. The automats will not come within 100 paces.
The king's orders, no doubt. He wants to protect his family from his own automats.
Sadly, Gabrielle got it into her head to explore the area to gauge the size of the enemy forces. The fool. She left so heedlessly that she was captured before our eyes, and we couldn't do anything to help her.
Where did the automats take her?
They went towards the palace.
Run and get the children. They must not remain at Versailles any longer.
Have no fear, madame. I will take you to a place where all three of you will be safe.
I will help Madame de Polignac.
Dieu te vienne en aide. You are her only hope.
Don't delay, Aegis. Our companions are ready to take the palace as soon as you have destroyed its protectors. I will join you when I have fulfilled my commitment to Her Majesty.
The key.
But I gave it to you earlier.
Please, it's no matter. Once again, we were treated to a charming show.
Oh, it was much more than that, Monsieur de Vaucanson. This automat is a masterpiece. A mechanical marvel. It could do much more than dance, ne croyez-vous pas? Madame, the Estates General brandish the threat of rebellion. There is plotting afoot. They are stirring up the populace. Worse, they are making pacts. A number of representatives of the nobility and the clergy have taken up the cause of the Third Estate. As for my army, there is not a man among them I can trust. That is why I have made new arrangements for you. From now on, the Swiss Guard will no longer be protecting you.
Then who will, my love?
Take a look for yourself. Be assured you are in sturdier hands.
Whatever do you mean?
Isn't that Claudia? Monsieur Vaucanson's dancing doll?
Appearances can be deceiving, mesdames. The Count has made extraordinary improvements to this automat.
Aegis, this is Her Majesty the Queen. You are now to serve her. Make sure no harm comes to her and obey the orders she will give you.
Madame, I am at your service.
Votre les He can speak. This makes no sense. This is sorcery.
Make no mistake, mesdames, it is science, which we owe to the work of the Count, and which will soon be made known to the entire world.
You struggle in vain, dancer! You're not long for this world!
Oh, see how the Aegis turns against its master.
You are not my master, tyrant! You never were!
I am quite happy to concede this point, but what about the Count? Have you forgotten that he gave you life and whispered the order that animates you? Look how he runs, the coward! Do you understand what he has in mind? La pauvre enfant, sleeping so sweetly, she won't be dreaming for long now!
Croissant! Athenais! Don't move!
The time has come to set you free, Aegis. This whore's soul has poisoned your cogs for too long. Adieu, sad puppet.
Auntie Devine, I don't want to die.
Athenais. The sun is rising, and you have slept for far too long. The beauty of this world longs for you, just as you long for its light, for you are like the flowers that open in the morning. I know you, mon ami. We loved each other. Vous en souviens-t-il? You gave me your heart. So please, let me give you mine today. Vivez heureuse, Athenais, for it is happily that I leave this world.
This way, monsieur.
Monsieur, we have the king. It is now up to us to wield his scepter. In this trying time, crucial decisions must be made without delay.
First and foremost, we must take back Paris.
And how do we do that, mon Dieu? There are automats everywhere, and they are constantly regenerated by their crimes.
We have the king. Cagliostro has fled, but he is leaving a trail of blood. I doubt he will survive his injuries. As a result, the automats are left to their own devices, with no one to give them orders and no reinforcements. And since I'm sure that Parisians will no longer venture out into the streets, the machines will soon have no more souls to harvest. Sooner or later they will no longer be able to move and, par la grâce de Dieu, will become inanimate objects again. It's a matter of days, weeks at most.
Mais ensuite, once peace has been restored, what of the kingdom?
This is indeed a crucial issue. Leaving the nation without a government would expose it to the greatest danger.
Worse, it would condemn it to civil war.
Eh bien quoi, monsieur? Can you not govern together?
Unfortunately, the disagreements that divide our assembly run far too deep. That which we can agree is that we have been given a chance to choose the person who shall succeed the tyrant.
I believe I am the person who is best suited to exercise power. Of course, I will only hold office for as long as it takes to set up a new assembly and a government of the people. For the French will no longer tolerate a king. We can be sure of that.
Are you joking? What have you done that would convince us to let you take down the monarchy?
Answer, Monsieur de Robespierre. You have our full attention.
Monsieur, I rest my case.
Very well. We must now make our decision. I pray that each of us shall respect this decision and set aside our personal interests for the sake of peace and the common good. Who among you approves the appointment of Monsieur Maximilien de Robespierre? The National Convention welcomes Citoyen Robespierre, Consul of the Republic.
Citoyen Louis de Bourbon, former King of France, in the name of the French people, in light of the innumerable crimes of which you have been found guilty, the members of the National Convention, meeting as an extraordinary court, have voted to sentence you to death. The sentence will be carried out on the hour. Now that justice has been done, the nation is ready to hear your last words.
My loyal subjects, since you must lead a lamb to the altar, since you must offer a sacrifice to this new France that you intend to found, I will be that sacrifice. How dreadful this world is, where beauty is doomed to fade and flesh decays. I found no consolation in this world. I vainly thought I was giving our souls the gift of immortality beyond our mortal bodies. The Grim Reaper was my sworn enemy. Influenced by the most awful of men, I believed that the genius of machinery could overcome death itself. Alas, I have lost this fight, and am branded with the mark of murderer. Life, even more than the crown, was heavy for me to bear. I have suffered too long under the thumb of nature, which I despised. As a child, I saw my older brother die. I lost my father in the prime of his life, and then my mother, who was even younger. My beloved daughter did not live a year. As for my son, the first of my heirs, I unknowingly gave him to drink from a poisoned cup. I mourn the death of these poor souls daily. My death will not unite us, of this I am certain. For I, in my misery, have lost the support of my faith. Sir Executioner, lay me down on this board, Vertu. I will sleep now. Sleep at last.